Something we can talk about is the Battlefield 1 reveal, which happened.
Oh, like the one that came out way back in the day?
Yeah,
Battlefield 1?
No, that was 1942.
And then Vietnam.
Colloquial known as Battlefield 1. Yes, after much speculation and leaks and hype and discussion on this podcast, Battlefield 1 was revealed, and yes, it is a World War I game.
Yay.
Get it? Like Battlefield World War One?
I understand. Yeah, it's
You get
weird
it?
that's the number one and
So
the numeral.
we've been having so many conversations about this week. What they're going for is that there's already a Battlefield 2, there's already a Battlefield 3 and 4. What they're saying is none of those would exist without the way that war evolved during World War I.
I mean, it's the
So they're
first modern
saying
war.
canonically this influences the other Battlefield games.
I mean, that's
Is that their
ridiculous.
Is that their line?
That's their
Like,
line of
that's
logic.
Absolutely. I don't think that's their line of logic. That's just them being fancy. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we need to call it this and then excuse it by being philosophical.
And it's like my first reaction was like, well, how do you make a sequel to a game called Battlefield 1? Because there's already a Battlefield 2. But I think their answer to that is, well, that's the point, that this came before all those other ones. But I'm like, well, no, like the next
That
is the
doesn't
next
make
one
sense.
called Battlefield 5 then?
I mean, a lot of games are moving away from numbers
Yeah.
anyway. So maybe.
Yeah,
you know,
AC's moved
I mean,
away from
technically
numbers.
Battlefield 1942 and Vietnam were 1 and 2, but they didn't have
Yes.
numbers. So
Well, and that's why I think everyone thought this would be called Battlefield: The Great War or whatever, like something, or
Yeah.
just Battlefield 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it so
it's
strange.
dumb, but I also think it doesn't matter so much. Like,
Yeah.
we already are familiar with the name. Everyone knows what you mean when you refer to Battlefield 1. There's no confusion, so it's effective.
Yep.
But
And
I'm
that's like you
also
keep
pretty
saying.
excited about it.
Yeah, in the reveal, they announced the game's coming out October 21st,
Mm-hmm.
and they showed a trailer that was, they said it was in engine, but it's definitely not. I take that with a grain of salt. I don't take it with a grain of salt that it was in engine.
Yeah.
But being in engine means that. In
engine?
being an engine, being
No, don't just
being
move on.
it means that you're able to have. What did you say?
I said steer into the skin.
That's not what I heard.
What do you hear?
Nothing. Moving on. It doesn't mean that that's indicative of what the actual game is going to look, because you have to render an entire world as opposed to these shots where you're just able to render certain things that you're viewing. That being said, I almost knocked my entire coffee over. I thought the trailer was super cool.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it totally is.
I mean, it was also helped by the fact that it came after Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's trailer, which
Yeah.
was boring and overly long. So
Yeah.
in comparison, it was like, yeah, it's good. And
Yeah,
they had
the-
like that cool remix of
Seven Nation Army.
Seven Nation Army, which wasn't a crappy cover. It was a remix.
Yep.
So it was still Jack White, which
Yeah,
is
and
nice.
it's nice walking away
Points
from a
for that.
trailer being like, oh, I want to see more of that.
Totally,
Like that,
which
I
is
would
what
rather
trailers
have
should
that.
do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
That's so often screwed up. Like Batman v Superman is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Not to do a trailer.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Whereas the Battlefield 1 trailer was super pretty, and for whatever reason, I really care about World War One. And I said this last time, but it's like, I really hope that it does the brutality of that war justice. I mean, all wars are brutal, but I really hope that they don't keep out trench warfare or
Doesn't seem like they
gas
are.
or-
I mean,
Doesn't seem
that
like it,
the
yeah.
I agree.
trailer
Seems like
showcased
it'll all be
stuff
in
like mustard gas. It showcased biplanes. It showcased the physical, brutal combat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It seems like you're going to be. They almost said it. I think the game is doing what I want from every game. It's going to tell multiple stories. It's
Yeah.
going to have. It's going to be a series of vignettes,
like Valiant
like Valiant Hearts.
too.
Yeah, I bet one of them won't be a dog though. Or the
You
dog
don't
was
know.
all of them, right?
You don't know.
No, I do know. I
long as
finished,
Max
You don't know
I
that.
finished this video game. As long as Max isn't there, it'll be fine.
It's not a good running joke.
No, this is terrible.
I do think the weapons will be the most interesting part to me. I
Yeah.
think the type of, especially like ranged weapons and like automatic weapons you get used to in a shooter, especially, it'll be really interesting what they replace that with. I'm still imagining in multiplayer we'll see some anachronisms, like we'll see some like crazy machine guns or whatever that you can unlock late in the game that
Probably.
sort of break the illusion a little bit,
Yeah.
but just allow you to have the mechanics you would expect. Because otherwise, it's like if there's like wall running and kind of the things that you're expecting from Black Ops 3 or Titanfall in Call of Duty, and then you go to play this and it's very slow paced, that would be the biggest departure for Battlefield in a very long time.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
It definitely didn't look slow paced.
No,
like
not
it
at
looks
all.
like it's taking the elements that are historically accurate and injecting them with steroids.
But that's the thing, like it looks fast paced when you're up close and personal. We don't know what
Compared to
ranged
other
combat looks like yet. And you'll have tanks and all kinds of artillery and stuff, so I guess it's maybe that. Maybe it's you rely more on the vehicles, but it's still that really interesting, like, well, what does that mean for, like, can you get some kind of weapon? Because I, like, am far from an expert on World War I weapons or anything. Obviously, like I don't know what existed in that time.
You have
that
so
would
many
make sense.
rapiers. It's just one of the weapons. It's one of the things here.
No,
You get a
yes,
spike
it just-
baton,
it's
a
just,
French
you know.
shovel, and a rapier.
Yep, that's
In
Not a
engine.
fan of that
Locations
one.
confirmed so far.
in engine. Yeah, I think the things that I'm most interested in are stuff like mustard gas, and I know it's going to have gas masks as well, like how they'll be used as a mechanic. I think
Like,
all
that
of that
could
stuff
be-
is really interesting.
The gas mask stuff could be terrifying. Like,
Totally.
could you
Oh my
imagine
God.
like
I hope it's
it would almost be
terrifying.
like a drift where like
Yeah.
your breathing gets heavy and like your field of view is limited.
Yeah.
It made me think of Metro, like Metro 2033 and Last Light.
Man,
And
that'd be so good if they used it like Metro.
yeah, I can totally see them doing that at least in the campaign. I mean, we don't know. Man, like it would be crazy. Like deploying gas in multiplayer and disabling an entire team is
Yeah.
insane to me. Like I think
Yeah.
they could do a lot of really, really interesting stuff. So
Yeah, I wonder how they'll use trenches in
Yeah, like,
multiplayer.
are you going to be digging a trench?
yeah,
Can you dig a trench all the way to the center of the earth and find the Molmen?
probably not.
Yeah, I believe that's what World War One was about.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
I mean, that was
the
the search
Molmen.
for the Molmen. The
Yeah.
Ottoman
Yeah.
Empire was trying to harness the power of the Molmen.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
You'll be going to places such as France and Italy and the Arabian Desert. Yeah, and it said you're going to be following a bunch of different characters, and they've sort of said they want to present a wide spectrum of stories that often go untold.
Like the Harlem
different
Hellfighters, which is
perspectives.
really cool.
Harlem Hellfighters, which was a group of African American soldiers, they said they want to focus on what women were doing, like the untold stories, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm
like I
excited-
mean, Valiant Hearts actually completely does do that, but the story of the nurse character
Yeah.
was very interesting and totally worth seeing more of.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition between what we saw a couple
we
days
do say
beforehand.
interesting a lot.
Yeah, we say interesting, evidently, juxtaposition, nebulous, just deal with it. We talk a lot. And sometimes we say the same words.
Mostly to each other.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty bad. We need to
yep.
spend more time apart.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. So evidently, no. Yeah, I thought the Infinite Warfare reveal it wasn't nearly as good as this. I liked the second half of the trailer a lot.
Yeah.
Like once you got to space, I was like, oh, this looks different.
Yeah,
this
totally
looks
agree.
cool.
Why didn't they
I'm
just-
totally down
just
for
have
it.
that?
Yeah, but then there's all this insane stuff about how Battlefield has become the most upvoted trailer on YouTube, and Call of Duty has become the most downvoted.
Yeah, so
which
there
to me
were a
isn't
few
really
people that I spoke to on the Beyond YouTube channel in the comments who were like saying that Call of Duty fans don't want this future stuff, and obviously it has tons of dislikes, but it's like, but then why do you keep buying them? Like, I mean,
Also,
people just keep buying them.
I think it's a vocal minority that doesn't really want it because I think the game is still going to be the best-selling game of the year.
Yep.
That and the amount of people who leave dislikes compared to the amount of people who leave likes. Like, people are a lot more likely to dislike something than
And
like
it's
it
also-
if they do like it.
It has 16 million views, and it has 1.6 million dislikes. That's still 10%. You know, that means 90% of the people who watched the video didn't like or dislike it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many likes does it have?
298,000.
Oh.
Wow. That's a thing. But I mean, it isn't a good trailer, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's hard to say what people want because the sales kind of disagree.
Yeah.
I
Also,
guess.
I really have a feeling, just pure gut check, like we don't know anything yet, but I really think that we have seen a very good chunk of what Battlefield 1 is. Like, obviously, there will be multiplayer modes and maps and things we haven't seen yet, but I think we get it more than we get Infinite Warfare. I have a feeling there's probably, because like in that trailer, you're going between planets, and there's a lot more to it that I would imagine could make people care more. I think like if it's not
Yeah.
just Call of Duty in the future, if there's some twist to it, if
it's Halo, but good.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I love Halo, but I mean,
What?
no, I mean, I didn't like Halo 5's campaign. Is what I'm trying to say.
I'm bummed I still haven't played Halo 5's campaign. It's the only
It's,
Halo campaign I
You know,
haven't
it's
played.
fine.
Yeah,
Wow.
campaign's
Anyway,
pretty fun.
Beyond.
Beyond. What's up, everybody? I'm Marty Sleepa.
That's not how I start things, is it?
What's up, everybody?
Hey, guys, I'm Marty.
Hey, everybody.
What is that?
I do
Oh,
a
you
hand
do a
raise.
wave.
Yeah, shut up.